And I realized that all of us came to this point on completely different roads. And the more people that join our belief of history are going to be from even stranger roads that we don't. I mean, we're going to have people that have had congressmen fighting to let them use bathrooms that they weren't born to use come awake soon. So it'd be a good time to start while we have a giant group of conservative people that can't all agree that all we needed was enough evidence that 2 Novembers did not go according to law. And that's enough intel to get off your butt and have an objective. And there's so many choices based on the skills that God gave you. There's at least 4 branches of the Patriot movement. And you could be a part of at least 3 of the 4, and there's more coming. The memes, that's like, if you go to church, think of it like the meme ministry. Okay, there's people that are real good at doing memes and just sharing memes. And as little as it sounds, I've heard from 2 very smart people that this war can be influenced very strongly because of what memes are to people, especially young people on the internet. And there is the digital warriors, the Rebel Republic digital warriors. And what we're doing is we started with the focus on taking down some of these Pakistani channels that run, intel from last year and put commercials in it every 3.5 minutes after they do the magic live stream. There's a formula. They do their live stream. They got their video up. They apply the commercials. They got 1,200 comments in the comments section and 34,000 subscribers with 5 videos up. And I know YouTube wants those channels up because they draw people. They just don't want the revenue of that to go to us. That's why Jaco can say anything on one of these Pakistani channels, but he can't do it on his own channel because they want the revenue. They want to keep everybody in the hamster wheel that everybody's in. And intel is just like news. We need news. There's people that spend their entire life watching the news at 11 o'clock every night, and that's fine. But they don't have news now. So that's us. But we have to also realize that no matter what comes out, it doesn't matter. We got enough evidence 2 Novembers ago to do whatever we want. That's all I got on that.
But that was a mouthful right there, and I think you're right. Mike, what do you think? I think Mike's froze up.
Well, I'll say real quick.
I'm here.
50%.
Go ahead.
Let's pretend right now that 50% of the intel we're getting is black hat. We're so infiltrated. We're infiltrated to the point where we have channels dedicated to attacking other intel channels. That's ridiculous. Where's the fame in that? All you're getting, your best if you're going to attack Mike Penny, what are you going to walk with? If you got his entire audience, you got nothing. You don't even have a piece of the pie on YouTube. No one's going to make a living off of doing intel, and no one is going to get famous for it. None of us. We're dust in the wind. So why don't we come together? Is Mike Penny right about everything? I don't know. I'll tell you, Frog was right about something I made fun about forever. Disney's eating babies. He was right. But I said, you better get a lawyer before you say that. You got to have some proof. And evidently it's coming out. If you read Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book, they were players.
I'd like to just interject that this is something that I've been behind all along. And everybody that I've been on a channel at, I have preach to them that we need, if we spend as much time that we do in fighting, in actually going after our true enemies, we would win back our nation
A
and
long time ago. A long time ago. We wouldn't have got past February if we all got off our asses. And I'll contend, I said about the 6th of the 11th month of the year, if those people don't make it to their oath day on the 21st, on January 21st, then the guy who didn't accidentally win that basketball game would get the job. But after the 21st, if those people say get corona and don't make it, it doesn't go to the guy who lost the race, who probably really won the trophy in that game. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how we could talk here, but what I'm saying is we could have took care of the problem if we made sure 25 people didn't take an oath they've already broken. And now we're about to walk up on that cycle again. In a couple of days, we're 1 year away from the anniversary when this country was officially assaulted, where they and the oath, like I said, there's 4 branches. There's the affidavit moms. You could be one of those. There's the constitutional sheriffs. There's the oath keepers, not the group, but the men in the world who are policemen and FBI and CIA and all the guys who took the oath to defend the country. They're going to have their time too. And theirs is going to be a lot more dangerous than the rebel republic, where we just need our thumb. One thumb, any age, you could be very effective answering 8 questions on the FCC website when your local news distorts the news. And just that distorted news on fcc.gov is the most heinous crime that a news agency can commit against the people of America. So they love collecting money on that. I'll chill on my voice, let you guys talk.
No, you're good. You're making very valid conversation there, and I think you're spot on. And we have to stick together and do this. I've been as bad as anybody. I was too lazy. I didn't get involved, and I let stuff go till it came to my door. And now
And it's coming to our door.
Yeah, and you know, we about let it get too far. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. And 12 months from now, there's no coming back for sure. After the next basketball game, that's it. And if those people make it to raising the right hand and saying those 4 sentences, then we're screwed, because even if they won the basketball game, they still have to make it to trophy day.
Right.
If they don't make it to trophy day, then the other guy gets to go to trophy day. But oath keepers didn't pick up on that, and that's their department. Mine's defeating the FC, or paralyzing the media through the FCC, because when you open up a complaint and it goes on their desk at NBC News in Louisville, Kentucky, they're under investigation until that piece of paper changes into another piece of paper that says you're clear of all charges, or we need $35,000 for that mistake. Mistake or not, as one of the black hats was indicating, it's a charge, because you can't go around and giving false information on the news, or distorted. So I think it's important that everybody takes a stab, and it doesn't matter if they get fined. It matters if we shut them up for a month or two. When you sign in, you basically, to fill out the form, are making an account, and then you just make a password, and it's all done in 8 questions. So you can always go back and see a list of all of your open and closed cases, which I had a page and a half at least on the old website. And right now they're all gone. Nothing has been brought in. But so my most recent one I could see. And then when they respond, I get to read the word for word respond from the station. And then I get to read the rebuttal from the FCC. And the FCC doesn't go after them without a victim, because it would look like the government's attacking freedom of speech. So they need us to be the victim for them to do their job. They already know what everybody's doing wrong. They just need victims so they could prove it and have a crime. See what I mean? They're protecting, the FCC's protecting the people from the media, but they can't say it's us. They can't say we're fining you. We have to say, this lady lives in Mississippi, says your commercials are too loud, and you can get them fined for having loud commercials. And if your baby's waking up in front of the TV set while you're watching TV and it goes to commercial and your baby wakes up on every commercial, the commercials are too loud. You can make a complaint, and they're doing it on purpose because it gets your attention, and they know that it's psychological. FCC gives them a fine.
Yep.
We're also talking about running for office and getting people who never wanted to be a politician. And all the information for that in your local races are on ballotpedia.com. If you just go to your county, and that's all I got on that. Is somebody watching TV?
Yeah, there's noise in the background. I'm sorry. I was going to try to mute my
Oh, that's
thing.
all right.
Yeah, and see, I do it a little. What I'm trying to do is a little different, Red. I'm trying to reach out into local communities, and I talk to people about things that are going on. And I actually have a website, a store, and everything. If you guys want to buy some stuff from the store, we donate all that back. We adopted a family for Christmas.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's a great ministry.
Yeah, we've got one of our mods in here has cancer. She's got a link on our page to help her. She lost her job because of the illness, and she got diagnosed with breast cancer. She drives herself back and forth to her own treatments.
Oh,
I mean, she's
my
a rock star. And so if anybody feels that they want to help in that, you go straight to her. It doesn't even touch me. But I called Diclort Glass, and we're going to donate all that money back. I plan on going through the grocery store one day and finding some elderly people that are struggling and buy their groceries and walk away.
That's cool.
So I have a mission, and I do want to, I try to get involved with the sheriffs everywhere I go and talk to those people and get them on board. So
there's a sticker ministry now for that, like the Biden sticker. I did that at the gas pump. I mean, that's literally a movement, and you could be a part of the sticker movement using Sticker Mule. If you got a good idea for a sticker that you could put everywhere, or a business card, like a track, for church, for $50, you could get a buttload of stickers, depending on the size and the shape and what their sale is that week, because they always got really good sales.
Cool.
So that's another idea of things people could do. But I just don't want people to wake up every morning asking themselves, who's running the country today? Is it the other guy or this guy, or who's doing this? It's shortening our lifespan, worrying about it. And a lot of people are on the Intel hamster wheel, and Intel is good, but you got to take it like a basketball game. It doesn't matter. We got to do something serious. It involves getting off of our ass, and we're the last country to do it. They were
Agreed.
the guy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just agreed with you. Yeah.
The guy in Epoch News said today exactly what my friend from Australia, my silver stacking buddy, Silverbeard, Richo's Hunting Treasures on YouTube, passed away 2 years ago. We watched the wildfires blow through. We watched the those little those little things that climb, the koala bears get burnt out, destroyed, all on his channel just by him stepping into his backyard. And he passed away. And he said before he died, Red, everything. He was videotaping the toilet paper shortage 6 weeks before we had one. And he said, Red, whatever happens in Australia happens in your country 2 months later. And it usually happens in New York or California first. And the guy on Epoch News said today in his new episode, I always keep one eye on Australia because whatever happens there happened here next. Now, that tells you that it's a global plan, which is treason because they're having foreign governments or foreign powers that don't even have American birth certificates write the laws that they're pushing through Congress. That's treason. We have the same laws as Australia and every other country. Then who wrote them? It wasn't written here in America because we're the last one to get it. It's the same exact plan in every country. So that's treason. We could stop there, but nobody ever stops there because the Democrats are so good at waving a shiny object out on the side that gets everybody running away. Like we didn't need to go recount everything 2 years ago. We had 7,000 affidavits and hours of videotape proving it all. As soon as one person comes up and says, that lady right there did something illegal and she won't let me look at a piece of paper. As soon as somebody says that, the election is over. If an inspector cannot inspect, the election is over. It's a redo. But nobody stopped there. Everybody had to go count. I just started echoing about 10 cents ago. If somebody doesn't have earbuds in, if you don't have earbuds in, you're echoing. If your speaker's on, test. Okay, that's gone. So here we are chasing that shiny object when we could have just stopped there and said, boom, look, in school, when you went to school, did they teach you to read a document from 6 to 8 feet away? In college, in any class that you ever took, were you required to stand 8 to 6 feet away from an 8 by 12 piece of paper with 25 font size on it? That's not inspecting. That's when the whole thing was over, but everybody had to run for it. But look where we got, because we keep looking at the shiny object. And today the shiny object is, did Bob Marley walk down the street past Mike Penny in Dallas? Who cares? It's time to get off our ass, take the skills that God gave us and apply them to this. You may not be somebody who wants to fill out FCC things. Maybe you're better working with an oath keeper because you're an ex-cop. Maybe you're an affidavit mom and you got 3 kids in school. If we don't start today, it's over. The only thing we got going in our favor, in my estimation, is Project Looking Glass really kind of backs up the Bible. And no matter what happens, it ends well for us. But I want to speed that process up because we could have been there last November or so, 2 Novembers ago.
Right.
So So as soon as
Right.
we stop giving a shit what color underpants Donald Trump is wearing, we could win. Not a second before, because we're in the same hamster wheel that CNN is selling, MSNBC is selling, but they got a different flavor. Those people don't like the flavor we like. They get it in a different flavor. And here we are serving it up. I'm guilty of it. Serving it up. Keep on eating the ice cream, guys. Here's some popcorn. I heard that on Mike Penny the other night. And the guy, he's an American. He deserves his right to speak. But I couldn't believe that they said, sit back and watch the popcorn at this point. We've been sitting back watching the popcorn for 2 Novembers.
Yes. Yep. This isn't a movie. We got to get involved.
Ain't no movie. This
That's
is,
right.
you are in the movie. And you know what? You're one of the background actors that dies in the explosion. That's what you're in. You are, yeah, you're one of those background actors. I did that for years. I was in the background of everything.
Yep.
And you're all gonna die when that car explodes in the background, but the star won't. Star gets to keep his job, and all the underlings get to hang or go to jail. And hopefully that happens. And maybe tonight, when Trump speaks, that might happen. We might hear something good. I like Jeff B's whole analogy of how this would go down in the white hat scenario. That was excellent. I was in the chat going, damn, that's dead on. And it's not my theory. It's totally different. But his works just as well using the same intel. I'm going on a pause. I want to hear more about it.
Right. Yeah. Jeff B, everybody's hollering for you to say something here. What's your thoughts on everything?
Well, first of all, I'd like to go ahead and have your executive producer assistant fired because I wasn't afforded the opportunity to be formally introduced to the red-headed step stacker who I officially acclaimed on his YouTube channel as my new hero.
Yeah. When we first kind of got started, we were getting all crowded up and everything was going crazy, and I was having a nervous breakdown, and I really didn't know how I was going to handle anything. So most of this train wreck
Nice
is
to meet you,
my
Jeff.
fault.
It's not a train wreck. We were having fun backstage. I didn't want to leave backstage. You know, the
Hey,
pre-show is sometimes more interesting than the show.
absolutely. But
Nice to meet you, Jeff.
Yep, nice to meet you. I think on the internet I have a cover name. I'll let you try to figure that one out. Yeah, I'll know you may be a good fortune teller.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. So not sure where I know there's people with a lot of questions about the events that happened today. So I'm sure everybody has seen this, and I'll preface this by saying I am not a geologist. I am not a volcanologist. I am not an oceanographer, but this is my theory.
Make sure you capture them all there, Jeff, or they'll hook you on something.
Yeah, they definitely will. I mean, I should have come up with a preamble. But 2 or 3 days ago, I think it might have been on both Travis's and LWN's feed or their YouTube syndicated channels that somebody in the Pac Fleet had told me that the Pacific Fleet was on the hunt, and parts of Pearl Harbor and some other areas were set out, And I had tied this to the ICBM launch from Kim Jong Un, my buddy in the north, and with the ground stop and all that nonsense. But it seems that today off the island of Tonga, there was a underground explosion that they're saying is a volcano. And I was extremely busy today. We were just getting everything handed to us all at once. And one of my contacts, I guess we could call it, had sent me a video where the Hubble telescope had captured the explosion off the coast of Tonga. Now, like I said, I'm no volcanologist, but if anybody's watched this video, it looks like an underground nuclear explosion. Now, could be a volcano, could not be, but I find the parallels of seafaring time for surface and subsurface vessels to reach that area is amazingly about 78 hours. And lo and behold, me personally, my personal thoughts, I think we sunk something. I think something was out in the drink and they knew it through SOSUS warning nets, and somebody got to pull the trigger. Now that's the way I look at it, because I seen another, and then he sent me another video of a boat that was off the coast of where this happened, and it looked like it was on land. But then another video showed another angle, but there was no land there. And I'll tell you what, if I'm out at sea, if I'm on a surface vessel and I see something like that, I'm busting out some oars, because we're trucking, we're getting away from it. But people were just, it was really weird. People were just sitting there filming it, but something of that magnitude that they caught on the Hubble telescope, I wouldn't be hanging out there. There's definitely, so, like I said last night, they said, watch the water. There's a lot of weird occurrences happening on the water right now.
Couldn't DEFCON Pops, he would be the authority, I would ask, because he can look to see if whatever got exploded to drop into a deep trench, because he explained to us that that's what they do when they want to get rid of something underwater. They throw it in they blow it up when it's over a deep trench in the ocean. So if that explosion happened in that type of an area, then your theory is correct.
Well, and the other thing too is I seen reports coming out that underwater network and telephone cables have been severed, and that's why they're reporting that there are issues with their internet connectivity. But if that's the case, how did these videos get uploaded? And SOSUS warning nets naturally would detect any surface and subsurface. I don't know. Something doesn't add up, and a lot of people that worked in the community, and some still working in the community that I worked in, they're scratching their heads and they're saying, okay, there's too many videos out there. There's too much quote unquote evidence to show this for this not to be known, or for this not to be not necessarily a staged event, but I hate using this to be used later on in a movie to show people some stuff that have been brainwashed by TV, internet, media.
Yeah, I buy it. It doesn't make any sense at all. No.
No,
It's,
not.
Is it the last move on the chessboard before Trump says something tonight? I hope he says something. I don't expect him to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. My honest assessment of tonight is going to be, if we hear the same rhetoric from Trump, and if we don't hear something about any type of storm, I'm going to have to dissect what he says very analytically. But if it's the same rhetoric, and when I say rhetoric, I don't mean that the stuff he said is false, because I believe they are very calculated in what they're saying. But I believe the last chess piece was yesterday with the Supreme Court decision, opinion, however you want to phrase it. Because if what I think's in play is in play, then we have to get rid of the whooping cough. And yesterday was the piece to get rid of the whooping cough, because if he is quote unquote shown to be the lawful sitting president of the United States, then we can't have that in our rear. We have to have that in a rear view mirror, and not something that he needs to deal with.
I would like to say something to people who are going to be dealing with that ruling, based on they're now pushing the president, the White House is pushing that individual companies force you on their own. I want to say something really important about OSHA. OSHA's there to tell you to wear safety glasses and a helmet. That is a job safety. Telling you to take a punch in the arm is a lifestyle decision, and a medical one at that. And you can't take that off when you go home at 3:00. See, so OSHA is way outside their legal boundaries when they ever considered telling anybody they had to get punched, because it's not a hat you could take off at the end of the day.
Right. Well, and me, if I worked in the private sector and my employer told me I had to get this or I was going to lose my job, I just have to say, well, I'd like to get a hold of my whatever Democratic person's in my state and say, whatever happened to my body, my choice.
There's also a website that Michael Jaco spoke about that lists lawyers that are looking for this specific case of people getting loss of income or job because of this. And I don't remember the website, but if you use a couple of the right keywords, I'm sure you could find it, because somebody in this chat's going to need it someday soon.
Yeah, well, and this is, what I had told on day 16. I said, there's only one word that sums this up. It's called precedent. And with the opinion that came down from SCOTUS, this sets precedent. And uh, any employer who is going to try to push this, I believe they're going to be in for one. I mean, I'm not an attorney by any stretch of the imagination, but I believe I could even win this case.
And the bigger companies are probably less likely because the cost per employee just to test them every week. I mean, you can't require that they jump through the hoop unless you're paying the bill. So, you know, no big company is going to take, what is it? I mean, COVID tests, that's like 300 or 400, isn't it?
Oh, I don't
It's a
know.
lot of money.
Yeah, I wish
for
I'd have
just
had
one swab.
Yeah, I would love to see the trading records on the company who manufactured that and find out what politicians bought stock in that company.
Can I tell you something about that? The testing company is owned by George Soros and Bill Gates. And if you guys want to know why Bill Gates is so interested in the syrup, the Aunt Jemima syrup, and the Q-tip for your nose, is because they both contain a tiny little computer. And guess who makes it? That's what this is all about. Same shitty spraying on your food.
Right.
Old Dr. Bill.
Yeah, you guys seen my video, some of you, where I went to Walmart with that big magnet and was grabbing meat with it?
Yeah.
And it got taken down, all of them?
Well, that's all conspiracy.
Yeah. Especially when you're sitting there yelling at the manager, showing him that his meat is magnetic.
Right.
I actually saw that
don't
video.
make the news.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Me neither. That's
yeah.
why I went to go do it. And then the old man across the street, when he brought out his Bob Evans farm he got for 99 cents, I said, you know why you got it for 99 cents? Because it's magnetic. It's been Bill Gates.
Right.
And he brought it out. He didn't believe me. I put the magnet on it. He's like, holy shit. There you go, Red Zombie. He was a red zombie, not a blue one.
Yeah. So what I would suggest tonight is, if anybody is going to listen to Trump's speech, just sit back and just listen. Listen to how he says things, what he says. Because here's the thing that, to me,
and watch his hands.
Yes. Well, yeah. Here's the thing that everybody should sit back and rationally think. So he was supposed to give a speech on J6, but the statement that he released was he wasn't going to do this because of the biased media. So what's so different about J6 and J15 other than 9 days? I think it was a pump fake.
Sorry, I've got a lot of background noise. I'm hitting my mic off and on to try to keep the background noise to a minimum. Anybody wants to jump in there, go right ahead. I'm just still shell shocked a little bit.
I'm still thinking about it, what he said.
You're muted, Mike.
Thank you, Jeff B. I said I'll step in here for a minute and just say this. Trump has just landed. So he's going through the process to get up on stage. So that's going to be coming here real soon. I guess people would probably want to know, well, what do you expect to hear or see out of Mr. T tonight? I'm going to say this. I think it's going to be a lot of what we've already heard, just my opinion. I think he's going to push a lot of of people getting involved in 2022. He's going to push those people that he backs and endorses. I think he's also going to talk about 2024 and maybe his bid for that. We've got other people that are starting to throw their names in the hat. And so he's going to have to make a move here real soon. He's going to have to make a decision. He's going to have to step up and say, yes, I'm going to take this. This is mine. It's really his to lose. If he continues down the path he's going, he might give room for somebody else to kind of slide in there and give him a run for his money for the nomination, in my opinion. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to tonight. As far as reference to what Red said, yeah, we all got to get involved. There's a lot of things that we can make happen, and a guy like Red can help us kind of guide us through those areas so we can be effective. And that's the key, is being effective and being productive and not just wasting time. And then to get to what Jeff B had said about what happened in the seas there, that's a pretty big explosion. We know that they were chasing something. I don't know what that was, but it's really, really interesting that we've had, just in a short amount of times, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but about 7 days, we had a supersonic or a ballistic missile fired. We had air traffic shut down on the West Coast. There was a sighting of a supposed sub somewhere off of our coastline. Hawaii, Pearl Harbor was looking for something, and now we have this explosion. So are those dots to connect? I don't know. That's what we're all looking at, right?
Right.
Well,
Yeah. And further,
you're muted, Travis. Choo choo, chugga 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 chugga.
oh, there we
you
go. Here we go. We got her now. Now it's telling me I'm muted again. What the
Nope,
crap?
you're good.
Okay. Yeah. I think Trump started a movement. This is not just about Trump. It's the movement. He brought people back together and unified us. Whether
Can you guys hear me?
I gotta say it.
Can you guys hear me?
yes.
Yeah, I
You
can
guys
hear you.
me? Okay, Travis.
Yes.
Travis, let me give you some advice. What's happening is your bandwidth is getting really slow. So when you hit unmute, it's you got to give it time to catch up. Your software is trying to get caught up, so it's got a delay. Okay, so I'm just trying to help you out. It happens to me all the time.
I got you. But back to what I was trying to say is Trump started a movement and he built unity. This isn't about Trump anymore. This is about unity, and we got to get behind our people that we think is going to be good for us, and stick to them, stick with them, get behind them, help them out.
Or be those people to run for office so we can get behind you.
Right. So, but something every time somebody pushes this goalpost back, we start losing some momentum in this, and we need to set everything aside. Let's pray for the best, expect the worst, and let's fight, because that's what's going to save our country. We got to get it back together.
And the goalpost is burning. They ain't pushing it back no more. It's on fire.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've been saying for months, and when I first come out and I said it, Liberty's chat blew up, and I told people, I said, look, Donald Trump has a very, very limited window. The American people are extremely finicky. They're extremely impatient. And if something is like I said, if he does not put the proof on the table, he won't be able to run for dog catcher. Now, there is one thing that I can disagree with Mike about. If I hear 2024 out of his pie hole, we have a problem, because he stated there is no 2022, 2024 unless we fix 2020. So if we hear any of those two dates, I'm going to have a real issue with that, because that tells me that either you had the proof, you didn't do nothing, and you need to be tried, or you never had it and you lied. You also need to be tried, because at the end of the day, it's not about this guy, it's about the country. But he is the flagship that has opened some of the American people's eyes to realize that we have been duped. And, you know, why are all these politicians not seeking re-election if they're in control? Why are all of these news anchors losing their shows? And why does the Capitol building and the White House look like a prison yard? When somebody can explain this to me, why? Because you can't blame the cough on it anymore. I heard that so many times. The reason why DC was empty was because of the cough. And then when I told Mike's viewers that, well, here's a bombshell for you, it's not a spoiler, you know, that certain agencies had moved out of the Washington, D.C., and I got called a liar and a grifter. And lo and behold, that premonition came true.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
That might help you put things together, or people. As soon as that first fence went up, it was Penguin 6 who was doing a live stream, and I was able to catch the little plaque that's on every piece of the fence for the fence company, the name. And I looked it up, and they were out of Dallas, and they had donated a lot of money to Trump's campaign. And not only did they provide fence, but they provided like body protection, like they'd send bodyguards out.
Correct.
And so then that fence came down, and another company fence went up, and I couldn't trace them directly to anybody.
Well, and two, that's like some of these shell corporations that are being used to move people or whatever from the continental United States and from other foreign countries to the land of Castro. And the one, if you trace back, they're out of Texas as well. And one of the people that sit on that company's board of directors is mysteriously a pipe hitter. And if you don't know what a pipe hitter is, that's one of the Tip of Spears guys. One of the guys that you call in when, we call them wet teams. When they leave the room, everything.
You mean the painter? The painters come in and
yes,
painters come in. I want to jump in here real quick. and jump back to what Jeff said about 2024. So I'm looking at it this way. I look at it as, yes, things need to get fixed from the previous cycle. And I think that that's happening. All the research that I'm seeing I reported this week 36 states that are now going to enforce voter ID, pitcher ID. I think there is some traction there. I think the Dems are pushing back really hard and trying to expand their mail-in ballots. And I think there's going to be a lot of pushback on that, and that's where I see things getting maybe somewhat under control for this excuse me, this next election cycle in 2022. And we still have a couple years after that to get everything prepped and ready to go for 2024. And whoever's running by that time, I think we're not going to allow this to go on any further. So we've got to do our part. We got to reach out to our representatives. We got to reach out to our congressmen, and we got to just send emails and phone calls and say this won't stand. We want accountability for all this stuff, and it's important that we do that, and that's what I'm going to do. And then to jump back to the whole explosion, I've seen a lot of comments in chat, Jeff. You know, that whole explosion underwater. We said it could be something similar to the power of a nuclear explosion, correct?
Yeah, if you look at any of the tests that the United States has done off the atolls, looks very similar. Looks very, very similar.
Again, DEFCON Pops. You guys know who he is, right?
No.
He'd be able
No.
to see exactly where it went off from the satellites. So
yeah, well, they
Will,
actually,
that's Will's buddy.
yeah, they actually showed a video of it happening from the Hubble telescope on CNN. It's on CNN's website. It's a
DEFCON
3-minute
Pops
video.
view shows all of the trenches in the ocean,
Oh,
like
okay.
where the depth drops off. And
Right.
he says if something happens over one of those real deep trenches that nothing can get to, then it was done on purpose. That's how you know. And I do want to say your theory the other night actually would work quite well if Trump came out and said 2024, because in your theory, which I agreed with, which was quite a bit different than my own, you said that the general would take over and be in charge, or may already be. I don't remember which one you said, but either way, he may say, I'm not going anywhere till the next election cycle because we got a lot of crap to clean up. And then boom, Trump can run again. So with your theory, that 2024 doesn't sound as scary. And,
Right.
and to what
Bingo.
Liberty Warrior said, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
and two, probably about 6 to 9 months ago, I had an individual tell me, who has yet to be wrong, that to keep my eye on General Berger. And anybody who has served in the military, especially in the Department of Navy, when there's a difference in a 2-star Navy admiral and a 2-star Marine Corps general. When a Marine Corps general comes out and starts barking, people kind of pay a little bit more attention than to a 2-star admiral. I mean, if I'd see a jarhead come out in full dress and basically addressing the world, because I think that if this plays out like I think it's going to play out, I think Trump cannot have any association with this whatsoever. The optics would be totally wrong. It would have to come from a military, and we already know that Milley, live on TV in front of Congress, completed the full circle of what I view as treason to his country when he said that he told the Chinese that if Donald J. Trump were to do a preemptive strike, he would notify them. And I think that segment right there possibly could be played to hopefully unbrainwash some of the current generation, but they're also going to have to walk a fine line with the older generation who, in their lifetime before Kennedy, wasn't lied to like they've been lied to now.
Jeff, I need to ask you a question. Sorry to keep hitting on this sub thing, but it's really piquing my interest. Let's just say, for instance, they did track that, find it, and sink it. What kind of chaos would that cause in our world, our military, even across other, continents? What kind of trouble would that cause if we did, America happen to sink someone else's sub?
Well, all depends on what type of aggression, and we would have to approve, or we would have to be able to prove that there was going to be some type of aggression or a plan, that there was going to be a future type of aggression. And I can't get into sources or methods or how things are being done in that realm, but agencies listen, and they are very, very, very well versed at listening to certain things. And so if they knew, because trust me, if a submarine fires up in Polyarny on the west coast of Russia up near Alaska, ComSub, PAC, Atlantic Fleet, everybody knows that joker started up.
Did we lose Liberty?
Think so.
Okay, well,
Can
just
anybody hear
based on what he said, okay, I wanted to say something. Well, I'm sorry. You need to reply to Jeff if you've got any more questions.
Jeff, did you hear me?
No.
I was asking if on that sub, do you think it was possibly one of our great enemies from over in the Middle East that snuck one in there?
Well, I mean, if you look at, okay, so I'm sure, maybe not everybody, but I'm sure people have seen the video that supposedly come out of Iran, where they basically showed that they were going to off 45. So if that video is legitimate, and if one of those boats were in the direction of the United States, then I guess you could say in a world court, the United States had, you put it out there that you wanted to do this and you had some equipment moving. Lo and behold, poof it by magic, you lost. And like I said, when I said this weeks ago, there are a lot of world navies that have submarines and ships, because they were just going on and on about the Chinese having all these ships. Well, that is true, but they don't have the experience that the United States Navy has when it comes to naval warfare.
Plus, that country is made of sand. So how good
Right.
are they going to be at submarining? Really? That's
Well,
like
yeah,
that's
it
like
all,
Jamaican bobsled team. It's a long
well,
shot. They
right.
get
Well,
away from shore. They're in
well,
the
it all
middle of the
depends.
sand. Where do they
Well,
practice?
yeah, it all depends on what Hussein's administration or previous administrations may have sold to him.
Amen. Yeah, you don't know what they could have sold to them.
Hillary Clinton's used military gear. Come on down, folks. Hillary's
For the low,
having a
low
crazy
price.
sale.
Do I sound any better, guys, while I got you here? Because I just got a new headset to put on my phone to
That
stop the
sounds
echo.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
Yeah,
the
okay.
Liberty Warriors talking about Trump's speech tonight. My theory is that they're going to drag Adam Schiff out in his underpants and people are going to throw bananas at him. That's my intel. That's what my intel told me. So
I'm sure.
Hey, I thought it was Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm sure that
not
clip
with
will-
Adam. It's rotten bananas.
I'm sure that clip's going to be replayed and dissected. But hey, I mean, I think it's only fair. Maybe we should let the rhino of the group have a little say.
Well, whoop, whoop. I thought the cheeseburger was going to make his appearance, and he was going to lay down the mustard, is what I was thinking, but maybe not.
It would be interesting because people said that Trump landed at 6:20. It would be interesting to see if anybody had tracked if there was a call sign to his plane and any other military aircraft that may have been within I don't know, 30 to 40 air miles away.
Well, I wonder if he had a helicopter there. I wonder what helicopter he might be flying on.
Let me say this. Pops, I know you're listening to me. If you can email me, or not email me, but message me the information that you have on that, I'm sure we all would be interested in it.
I love listening to him. Pops, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Start with an R, Rich or Richard.
Randall.
Randall. Those guys going off each other, listening to them is amazing. They're all watching the same thing, but at different times of the day, all night long. Oh, geez. It was great. I got it on audio, but it sounds awful. I wanted to post it.
But do you have a new name, Jeff? I thought I said somebody told me you have a new moniker or something that you're going by.
No, not that I'm aware of. Maybe if somebody could enlighten me on the panel.
Well, I don't know. Am I supposed to want to drop that, or is there somebody else supposed to drop that one? I don't know.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got a question for Jeff B.
Yes.
Is the U.S. Secret Service a 3-letter agency?
Wow. So U.S. would be 2 letters. S is secret. That would be 3. Service would be 4. I would say that would be an undoubted no, unless.
No. Oh, yes. Okay.
Unless.
I got to get better intel.
Unless you use some of that new math that they've been floating around.
Well, doesn't 2 plus 2 equal 3?
Oh, shikes. You were onto my super decoder ring.
Oh man, you must have got that when you went to Stolen Valor School, right?
Well, I have been questioned about why I have like 4 or 5 different military uniforms in my closet. And I just say I was part of the village people.
Well, I thought you went I went to Target or something and got some kind of document they had on sale in the office department section.
Well, they were doing a run on of the DD 214 sale, and I thought they were talking about a battleship, but I guess that's some kind of document that you get.
Does that means dum 214?
Yeah, definitely dum dum. Yeah, that fits me. There's no doubt about that. And the I guess if you do gematria on DD 214, it says Donald Trump is our hero, Santa Claus is real, and Grifter's alive.
No, you're missing some. You got a few more that can go with that. It goes stolen valor. Let me see. Didn't serve or couldn't hack the Coast Guard. And let me think what else. There's some other one that can go to them numbers too. We could sit there and come up with a few though.
Well, I can tell you this. In my Stolen Valor section, I did complete over 4 years of the U.S. Navy, or the Marines, or the Air Force, or the Army. But
Coast Guard
it was
too.
over 4 years.
So you were a glorified taxi driver. Oh, that's
Wait.
okay.
Wait, whoever just made that comment, you nailed it. Cross-dresser. Yes. Yes. That was awesome.
Man, I told you not to tell him I had a Victoria's Secrets credit card, Jeff. Stop.
All right, that's enough, guys. You're hurting my feelings. That's it. That's all I can handle. That's it.
But I'll tell you what, Red, your delivery was impressive, because when that video got dropped on me, you had me convinced that Antifa was alive and well. But then one of Travis's executive producers had to wheel me back and saying that might have been a spoof. But
the one I just put out.
Yeah, that's how I got indoctrinated to the red-headed step stackers.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good one.
Gee, and I thought I was the one that did that, Jeff.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Tidbit, I made sure everybody that on my call list got that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was, see, and to me, when somebody'd call me that, I'd be like, oh yeah, you didn't know that?
Well, let's just put it this way: if they're picking on you and me and everybody else in here, they're leaving the poor old saps alone that don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
Well, look,
and we're over the target. The louder they get, the closer you are to subjects they don't want you to talk about.
Right.
And that's how they confuse it. That's just like they're saying on TV that the Republicans are ruining the voting processes, and it needs to be done on a federal label. They're just, everything's a 180. It's really easy. What was it? The Patriot Act. 180. What did it do? It took away your rights.
Can I jump in for a minute on this voting situation? I have a little advice for everybody. And Jeff, I know you know a little bit about this too, so I'd appreciate anything you got to say. Same way with Red, LWN, anybody there. But if you go to a voting place here in my state, which I live in the middle of the United States here in Kansas, if they have a voting machine, you have the right to ask for a paper ballot They will take your ID here to verify that you're legal to vote. And then they'll issue you a paper ballot. But instead of running it through the machines, they will automatically put it into a box to be hand counted. And in my opinion, I believe that is the safest way that we can do a voting. And if something like that was to be done in all 50 states, I think that we would see a turnaround in our voting and get true and fair and correct voting.
Yeah. Well, that's like I brought up the point that, when people go to their polling place on 2022, if there's a machine there, that's the first thing you need to do is request a paper ballot. Because because according to the Honorable Mr. Krebs, this was the safest, fairest that was ever done.
Yeah, and we ended up with the most popular president.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in here real quick because I have a question, but I also want to make a comment to what Red put out the other day, the video, the very popular video. This is the question that I always thought that I'm turning into a comment. There are people out there that are doing what you say they're Red. I find it distracting and confusing as well. So the point that they're trying to make is that there's all kinds of people like us out there that are preying on elderly and mental health this, mental health that, which I didn't know they had PhDs for that. But why aren't they researching and going after all of those telephone people that call elderly people? I mean, they're making millions and billions, right? They call the elderly, they talk them into buying this, they talk them into reverse mortgage on their house. I mean, there is billions and billions of dollars out there that is being basically squeezed out of elderly and maybe people who doesn't have a whole lot upstairs. So why are they focusing on such little patriot channels that, hell, I can barely pay my bills with what I make here? I'm not getting filthy rich doing this. I really donate pretty much all of my time to what I do. So, that video that you put out there kind of shines some light for me. It's like, okay, that kind of makes me think. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
that kind of makes me
fits.
think.
It's the
because
same play over and over
why
in
are
every
they?
environment.
Yeah, correct. And they never answer a question. But
No.
But why are they not?
And when you
if
answer a
that's their-
question, they turn it into a new one
Yes.
with a crazy scenario attached.
With the
When they're
deflection.
talking to you, when they're not burning down your neighborhoods. But I'm sure they have different divisions of black hats.
Well, they
But what I think
claim
they're
that
doing
that's
is
their mission.
I think
They
their
claim
mission-
that that's their mission. So if that's their mission, then why aren't they going after the
Right.
people that actually affect
that
what
are
their mission
hurting,
is?
destroying old people,
Correct.
putting people without heat all winter because some dude from Pakistan called up and said, "You owe the IRS. Go to Walmart and get a money order." Yeah, they're not here to help. It's just like the BLM is. I mean, whose neighborhoods are burning? Whose children are dying? It's not white kids. Wake up. It's exact same thing. This is for your best. Everything is the best interest of this demoralized or needy or minimalized group of people. And what they've been doing for 200 years is using the weakest people in our society to funnel money to themselves. I mean, you ask a black woman who grew up or had mothered 2 children as a single mom in Cabrini Green in 1979, if she was ever treated like a human being by Mayor Jane Byrne, you're not going to find one. They had rats bigger than kids in that building. I was driving, when I was in Second City, I drove by that building at a red light, heard a gunshot, cop came out of nowhere and said, "Go, go, go." I'm like, through the red light? Go, go, go. You know, on a busy intersection. So that's what we're dealing with, and it's always going to be the opposite. It's always going to be, they're always presenting crap with whipped cream and a cherry on top.
Yep.
And we have to recognize it, and it's the same exact recipe every time. And we saw it in the video from 2 Januaries ago, and we saw it on my channel when I let somebody speak. And I saw it on his channel a week earlier. If there's any place I'm going to put my money, is that there's at least 40% black hats giving intel. And the guy I had on my channel the other night is one of them, because he doesn't go after CNN. He doesn't go after MSNBC. He doesn't go after Jen Psaki. He doesn't go after Joe Biden. He doesn't go after Pelosi. He doesn't go after Mitch McConnell. He goes after us. So how can he say he's one of us? He's not. He is the enemy. And if you think he's not, have fun.
I need to hop in
Stick
here for
with
just
him.
a second. I need to hop in for just a second because some of those platforms that you just threw out there are some of the research platforms that they use. So, and I'm not making that up, but I want to be clear. I never called anybody. I never called anybody Antifa. What I was bringing to the conversation was I was making a comment that there are all kinds of bad guys out there that take advantage of elderly people, and they take billions of dollars from those people. But I don't see anybody out there fighting that. So that was my point that I was trying to come
I
across
was saying
the chat.
I believe someone's Antifa. I'm not saying I have proof. I'm saying my gut. I'll take responsibility for that.
Let me jump in here for a minute. I have not been able to vet this, but going on Intel channels and checking things out, somebody had posted that the person that was pretending to be Santa surfing and several other channels posted a retraction and supposedly turned themselves into the law because of the fact that they knew that they had done wrong and had been bilking people out of money and putting in false intel. So if that is true, which, like I said, I have not been able to vet it, but I've seen it on several places, and it's been coming from several different channels.
She's back on YouTube as of yesterday with her voice. Are you saying the person Santa surfing?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Now this may be
she's
another
out of jail.
Yeah, this may be
she's
another
on YouTube now.
This may be another Santa surfing. I don't know how many that people might have tried to copy her.
You can't copy her voice, but you can steal her full episodes.
Yeah, but they were saying they were putting it out there as fake intel, and they were bilking people out of money, and they finally turned themselves into to law enforcement. But
I don't think
that goes to show that, you know, if this is real, that yes, we are fighting a lot of fakers in this movement.
She does say a lot of crazy stuff, but the real Santa surfing, I mean, she had a lawsuit against YouTube. I know that. And all of her fights, and then they'd take her down, they'd let her go back up. It was a weird thing. And she kept alluding to this lawsuit. And then we were only finding her on Rumble. And then she put that message up that my life has been threatened. and I'm done. I'm retired. God bless America. And then the same guy who would always send me her episodes, even though I was subscribed, sent me one from yesterday on YouTube. So I was like, hey, maybe she's back and they caught the guy that threatened her life. But she has been threatened and she's been talking about it for a while. So that again is who? The black hats among us. If she is a black hat, that's my whole point. Intel don't matter. I mean, it's fun to talk about, but did you do something else today to just change 1% of what's going on around you? And if we all do just 1% a day, one sticker on a gas station, 1 8-minute questionnaire for the FCC because the radio station totally freaking lied. And I know that's a lie. You know, that's all you got to do. And that's how we inch closer. 1% amongst all of us, we're done quick. And that's why, and I'm going to say it, that's why I talk to Mike Penny. I don't believe everything Mike Penny says. I don't believe almost anything that he says. But if my heart's right, he's a patriot. He may be a patriot that's getting information from really bad sources because we already know 40% of us are black hats. So, you know, that's why if a guy like Mike Penny decides, and he has done 2 missions, and I commend him on that, he has turned his audience into an army, a digital army, once for the hospital event and for the woman stuck in the hospital on the ventilator and then someone else. And if Mike Penny decided to do the FCC thing, he has 3 people minimum in every county of the United States. And if you count all of his subscribers, he's got, if I did the math wrong, it's still like 10 or 12. I think I did the math and it was like 30. But 3,005 divided into 76,000. That's 22 people per county in the United States. Mike Penny can tell them, go run for office. He's got 22 people that can work together in any county of the United States. So as long as Mike Penny is a red-blooded American, even no matter how far off I think he is, I think that he could really do years worth of damage in one day.
So
Great.
I don't think anyone's talked about the elephant in the room. And I know that some of the people on the panel is going to get this joke, but Red, I've noticed that you changed the characters there. Looks like Batman and Robin in the Batmobile.
1974. Oh yeah.
But I just
You remember
have
that
one
toy,
question for you.
Who remembers
Is Batman's hand up Robin's ass?
Not now, but before I got on the air, yeah.
So
he's doing a reach over.
okay, so
they just met at the forest preserves and they don't know each other. Do you ever walk in on one of those at the forest preserves? When I was riding my motorbike, it was like, this is the land of men having sex. Why are there people standing way out in the woods having sex?
Yeah, because I was just wondering if Robin was the puppet for Batman and that's why he had his hand up his ass.
They did get together at an unusually wrong age. And if I had to say Batman today, he would definitely, Jeffrey Epstein would have Batman's phone number in his black book in today's world. Robin would have had slept with every producer in Hollywood by now. But those are the gems.
I thought that's when he came out with a new weapon, some special kind of hammer.
Yeah, oh boy. I can go south real fast. I won't.
Hey, gentlemen, I'm gonna have to bounce here in just a minute. So, if there's any question or comment you need out of me, I'd be glad to answer. or say something if you guys have anything.
You going
Well,
to get this?
I want to
Liberty-
thank you for having me on the other night. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait until you and Snafu are on with me next week, right?
Yeah, it's going to be
Very
Martin
good.
Luther King Day. And I
Yeah,
got a
Monday
list of
on
things to
Podbean.
throw at you when we have our meeting.
Podbean.
Right on.
Podbean, everybody.
Mike,
Podbean.
aren't you crushing the numbers over there on Podbean?
Yeah,
Yeah, tell us your-
we're almost up to 6,500 subscribers. We're getting about 100 a day. We just dropped a new promo right before we came live here. I dropped a new promo on YouTube, Facebook. It's really awesome that War Machine put together for us. So share that out if you can. We were in the top 10 best podcasts. So thank you, Jeff B, and everyone else who's jumped over there and helped us reach those milestones. Actually, last night was another one. We just smashed 50,000 downloads last night. I forgot about that milestone too. So
Wow.
praise be
That's
to God.
awesome.
Praise be to God. He is definitely moving, and I just got to give him all the honor and the glory for that. So I'll just be quiet for a minute. If you guys have something you want to ask, and then I'm gonna have to
Your
get out of
frank
here. and
speech
get Noah
material,
fed.
man. You need to get off of this platform. It ain't doing nothing for you. Your frank speech material.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you what, Liberty, I am glad that
It's
when
you got
you
that wrong.
say-
It's Libert. It's Libert.
Oh, I'm sorry, Libert. I'm really glad, Libert, that when you say you're doing a podcast, it's actually a podcast and not a YouTube video.
Well,
Because that
I
gets me
noticed that's the
confused.
new thing. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta actually research the definition of what a podcast really is.
Oh.
I
But Mike, you
I
gotta
had to
work-
do
you
it
gotta
myself.
You got to work on your sherbet recipe because it kind of tastes bad.
Yeah, I strongly do not recommend the Libert sherbet. It's not good for you. Anyway, I got to go, folks. So thanks for having me on, Trav. Good to see you again,
Yeah.
Red, Jeff B, as
Thank you.
always, and David and Will. What happened to Will? I think we just lost him.
He's in
Thanks.
He's behind the 3 boxes.
We haven't even seen Essential One yet.
No.
All right.
We gotta
She's
give
the
the
I'm gonna-
genius.
ladies a chance to come
Good
in.
night, sir.
Well, I'm gonna get out of here so she can hop up here. So thanks for having me, Trav. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad we kind of put this together. I think this is a great thing to start off with, and I hope we get this thing rolling. Thank you very much.
Oh,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Yep.
It was
No
spur
problem.
of the minute, spur of the moment, and I've been nervous as all get out. So and had all the background noise. I apologize for all that, but I think this is progress in the right direction, and I appreciate it, Mike.
You definitely don't have to
Anytime.
apologize, Travis, but we will address that with your executive producer.
Yes,
It was only for 3 seconds you heard a TV going on. Since then, you haven't heard anything.
I've been because
Yeah,
I've been
I can't-
muting
I can't-
myself.
I can't wait till I get my YouTube executive producer to help me. I'm gonna be working on that.
Yeah, and
so
answer all
we'll
these
see you guys.
questions.
Have a great day.
Good night, Mike.
Later, dude.
Did anyone hear me earlier?
No.
No.
I got some intel on the trip for Trump.
Okay,
There's no plane data. It was a crazy radar day,
I see
but he
that.
took
I
the
know
Pinal
that.
County Sheriff's helicopter
Mike,
to
do we
the
have to
event.
boot you?
That's awesome. I think everybody heard that. It's
Yep.
called Penal County.
Yeah, Pinal County Sheriff's Department helicopter is what Trump rode to the event.
I wonder what the flag looks like for that county. Penal
Hey,
County.
April Fools. April Fools, I tricked all of you. Hey, just real quick, because as I was getting ready to leave, I thought of something real quick, Trav. For
Okay.
all of you guys that are over there on my channel, if you guys want to
Libert.
finish up the conversation with these guys, if everybody's over there on Libert Warrior Nation, you might want to hop over here on Travis's so if the mods can maybe drop the link in chat to get over here on Travis's. When I leave, it's going to shut Lurbert down. So I want to make sure that if they want to finish the conversation, they all pile over here for you. So I'll wait a few minutes before I leave. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, we'll get the executive producer up here, and you guys can have your battle, Jeff, when we get room here.
Sweet.
Glad I'm not the executive producer. I couldn't pass for bedroom eyes.
And we've got.
Oh, I
she's
thought you were talking about.
She's already got her own special T-shirt.
Yes, I didn't send that
Oh,
to her
I
yet.
thought you were talking about a different executive producer. Yours is awesome.
And we need to get, and there's some more people on you from your community that actually want to come in too, and I want to welcome that because this is productive to me. I just love it.
Well, don't bring in the ones I slept with, please. No, just kidding. I didn't sleep.
All right, Red, that don't leave very damn many.
I didn't sleep with
Were
them.
any of those Antifa?
Yes, half of them, but I didn't care.
Well, Jeff,
They had
you're gonna
blue,
have to
purple
text
hair.
me
There was a
what I gotta
giveaway.
say to Don Shipley when he calls.
What's that?
You're gonna have to text me and tell me what I'm supposed to say to Don Shipley when he calls.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Don does put it out there. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I'm sure Mike Jaco will save your day. Will save your bacon, though.
Either that or Dave Noble, who was Wesley Snipes' stunt man.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
Yes.
If you need to add to your repertoire, I've got an extra Coast Guard uniform you can borrow.
Sweet.
I know somebody's got one that's only got 3 years on it.
You're going straight to hell.
Hey, when you get there, let
Come
me
on,
know. I'll
guys.
tell you what
That's
the
enough.
combination
Be
is to the
nice, all
door.
right? Come on, guys.
Well, golly, we all thought we knew that.
I'm sorry, I don't have a filter. I got to work on that.
Yeah,
You don't have to have one over here. You can pretty much say you want to.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
You got knocked.
Yep, we're a little more lenient on how you say what in here, as long as we don't.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
That's why it's good to be on the. That's why I like my channel being 10,000 is when your channel really gets a lot of attention from the people you don't want, checking up on you from upstairs. And that's why I like to hover below that point. And because you can have fun and you could be yourself and say things and not worry so much, I mean, it was just by chance. How did I get 3 strikes on 2 completely different channels in 1 hour? That's weird. I could see 2 strikes in 1 hour on one channel, but 2 separate channels on videos that have been around for a long, long time. All of them. Nothing was new. That's weird.
So let me ask you this, Red, because I don't have a channel myself, but I do enjoy helping channels get more views than normal channels get. But have you ever had, like, on your channel where somebody comes in and wants to have a discussion with you and they want to talk to you, and then you find out that they played for the other side and they say something totally different on the dark side?
As far as I know, I've avoided that by not doing the live streams where I have guests in.
Gotcha.
So far,
Yeah,
we know, Red, that you take a wonder about some of us even in your room when we get into a live chat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Oh my.
it's
So
an
is your
interesting
executive-
little niche.
So is
So
the
many
executive
trains to leave
producer
the
coming
station.
up?
I'll find out.
Where you at, bedroom eyes?
The lady with the nice voice. Speaking of which, ladies with nice voice is
Wait a minute.
essential
Excuse
around.
me. Her name is now AKA.
No,
Vixen,
she had
the
to
man
take
whisperer.
a break for her other job tonight.
She works too much for a retired person. Jeez. Third shift too.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Hold on. Did
I
send that
emailed it.
Jeff?
Hang on, she's looking for the link. I think I already emailed it to her.
Let me see if I can send her one, Travis. I've still got it.
Oh, wait a sec. I heard somebody pop up.
Ding dong.
Oh, it is the executive.
Hello.
Hey Jeff,
Hi
look at
there.
your
Can
text
you-
I wear
message.
many
You'll
Can
get
you
the
tell us
t-shirt
what you
that
look
she
like,
got.
young lady?
Well, there was a little
Check
dust
your
up in the
text message.
chat.
I just sent you the shirt she got that got made for her.
Awesome. I don't know. My texts are not coming through. Anyway, there was a little dust up in the chat about. I made a little joke about my various names. We don't have to repeat them here. I think all the regulars on the show have heard them, but I think it speaks to an issue. Now, I don't know. So Intel is sexy. Intel is what everybody wants. So I'm the least sexy person on the entire show, which is strange because my name on Telegram, Jeff's chat, the haters on there, they hate me. They love Jeff. They hate me. So they would love to see you replace me as producer. But they call me bedroom voice, the the man whisperer, all of these things.
That's a good one.
And it's so
Man
ironic because
Whisperer.
Jeff does all the sexy stuff. You know, all that when they send out the bat signal and he comes on the show, it's pandemonium.
Yeah,
So
and
having
that
a sexy voice does nothing.
But
In
you
this
have to
movement.
say the man whisperer the correct way. It's the man whisperer.
The man whisperer.
yeah.
How is that?
Perfect.
In that
Perfect.
bat signal is global.
Oh,
That
it's
is a global bat signal. It's impressive.
it's on launching Travis into the upper echelon of YouTube influencers. You know, that's how we get great guests like we have tonight. We wouldn't be on a panel with Red if Jeff B hadn't, bumped up the numbers so much. So I can't take any credit. My executive producer, role in it is minimal, if anything. So
Well, Jeff, I will say this: I would have never jumped onto a channel as a guest or anything if I hadn't have talked to you.
Yeah, it's,
And-
but I do
this-
want to thank Red actually personally invited me to come on the panel, even though it's almost 2 hours in and I'm here, but because I don't do Intel. I thought this show was going to be, we started talking about community building. So that's kind of why I'm here, but we went into the good stuff and the Intel. So of course, I don't have as much to contribute there. I follow it all, but I have a different piece in all of this. And Red and I have discussed it just very, very briefly, but I know people are wondering, like, why was she invited to be on this? But I
want to know what
that's
you think about what we've mentioned so far. Like, what strikes a nerve in you, or what made you change your mind about something, or staying still, like off of
Well,
what
in a
you're hearing
very-
us say.
in a very general way. I think the way to get at the truth, okay, and the way to, people use the phrase all the time, use discernment. What does that mean? Well, the way to exercise discernment, or the way to separate the signal from the noise out there, okay, in with all the YouTube and figuring out what to pay attention to, the key to it is more discussion, not less. And the legacy media certainly does a great job in shutting us down. Okay, we have to speak in kindergarten like code words on YouTube to not get channels taken down. If you turn on a television, if you're like my mother and you settle in at night and you turn on the television and watch the news, there's no opportunity for people like us to speak. So what has happened in the past 2 years, especially with COVID, is we've all been home. I don't think I probably watched 5 YouTube programs in my entire life before March 2020. All of a sudden I was home more and feeling more isolated. And so a lot of online communities came together, including this one, and which I became a part of because Travis let a girl come on the panel and talk. And what we can't do is start censoring each other and telling each other what we can talk about or who's not allowed to have a voice at the table, or who is allowed on whose channel, and that kind of pettiness. That is not going to help the movement whatsoever, my opinion. I have a very different approach to things. I'm familiar with what you do with the FCC complaints and that sort of thing. I'm a much more on the ground. I'm the person who volunteers to knock on doors for candidates. That's my piece. That's not for everybody, but like you said at the very beginning of the show, we all have a role to play, and we have to go with our strengths and what kind of fits our temperament and that thing. So fighting on YouTube is not great, but I can take a joke and I'm, self-deprecating, and I do it on Travis's show very often to make a point. So I don't drop a nuclear bomb. I'm more of a stealth missile. That's how I see my role on the show. And I think, Red, you might have picked up on that a bit.
Covert.
Yes, very much.
So
And appreciate your feedback, and